Hi, Tom Walls, Carbide Processors. Last video I talked about a simple, easy one bottle test. You take a bottle, you fill it up with coolant out of the spout, out of the nozzle that's shooting into your work area. You fill up a bottle and you let it sit. And you measure how much hard particles settles on the bottom. You measure how much oil collects at the top. That's a simple, easy one. This is what happens. This is a lab test we did for a customer, and it's, I don't know, 20-some pages. This is not our test. This is an outside, independent, government-certified lab test. This is going to be pretty exciting. You get to look at a piece of paper on the video. But basically, one of the things we really test for is particulate matter. How many of what size particles are there? And we get a breakdown, and it's hard to see, but micron size, or no, I'm sorry, that's bin. Micron, less than 1 micron, 1 micron down to 92 microns, okay? What this one tells us is that there is 450,000 particles per cubic centimeter. All right, that's dirty. It gets dirtier, trust me. But that's dirty, and what happens is it's actually worse than that, because when the laser tries to count, the little particles are sort of hidden behind the big particles. The very worst test was, well here. This is a, I don't know, an analysis or something I typed out from the official lab reports. This is what we did here on this machine. First we tested the unused coolant, just coolant as they mixed it up. That had about 12,000 particles per cubic centimeter. Okay, that's what it showed up. These are dust particles, anything else. 12,000 isn't too bad. Now, on the sump with the used coolant, it had 76,300,000. Actually, 76,299,682 particles per cubic centimeter, which is what? About that much. Huge number of particles. A lot of them are really small because of a regrind effect. We'll cover that later. So what we did is we started filtering the sump. Immediately it dropped it down to 246,000 particles per cubic centimeter from the 76 million. So any kind of a filter took out most of the particles. After we ran it a half hour, we were down from 76,246,000 down to 100,000 after just a half hour of filtering. After 11 days on the same filters, we got it down from 100,000 to 87,000, and then at the end of 22 days, double shift, when we changed the filters, we got it down to 43,000 particles per cubic centimeter. So unused coolant was 12,000. If it's not filtered and just collects in the sump, it goes up to 76 million from 12,000. If you filter it, it immediately drops to 246 and then on down to 43,000. Another question is, what are we taking out of the coolant besides particles? So we also tested for turbidity, conductivity, pH, and viscosity. Turbidity is how easy it is to see through, and it's sort of another test for particles. Conductivity is how much metals, how well electricity conducts in it. pH is a measure of the chemical activity, particularly its account on hydrogen ions. This goes from dirty at 808, 815, 815, 814, and 805 finally. So we bring it back down. Viscosity, now the viscosity starts at 076 and 07371.08, 0.079, 0.076. So the viscosity stays the same. A big part of the viscosity, and whether you get a viscosity change or not, depends on what kind of a filter you're using. Some coolants you need a plastic filter, some coolants you need a cotton filter, because some coolants are attracted to the plastic and plug it up. But anyway, this is a lab test, and there are several tests, and I think it was probably $600–700 to do. which is a lot of money if you're buying $100 machines. If you're buying $500,000 machines, this is maybe not so much. And this technology is well established. The lab that we use here, Spectra Labs in Tacoma, Washington, government certified, etc., does a huge amount of work for people that run semi-trucks and other trucks, because you really need, you don't want to change your oil too often because it's an expensive process, both in materials and labor, but you sure don't want your engine eaten up any more than it has to. So these guys test antifreeze, they test engine oil, they test transmission oil and whatnot, and it's amazing what you can find out with this kind of a test. If you need a real test, a real lab test, we can arrange it for you here, help you interpret the results. In a later video, I'll cover some of the tests you can do yourself. That's it. Thank you. Bye.